only shot to win is, I mean, I don't think they have any shot to win, but I think if they had a shot to win, it would be through their running game and through Josh Dobbs also getting a lot of rushing yards. So I think that Drake Greenlaw will play because I think our linebackers will be super necessary for containing Josh Dobbs and James Conner. Um, I don't think that that will happen. I know last week against the Cowboys, Josh Dobbs made a 40-yard run. I think that what Steve Wilks will do is probably rush the front four, try to keep Dobbs from, getting out of the pocket as much as possible. He might break a couple in the beginning, shorter runs, just because the Niners have struggled with mobile quarterbacks. Although they did really contain Daniel Jones, but didn't Daniel Jones just suck last week? Like, I don't know. Was that the Niners are really good, or was that Daniel Jones is really bad and the New York Giants are so stupid? Why did they give him all the money? Like, oh my gosh. We've had quarterback problems here in San Francisco, but nothing compared to that. Can you imagine paying Daniel Jones $40 million? Did you see there was an interview where a reporter asked him about Mike Silver's article and was like, basically, this team said you suck. Do you have a response to that? And he was just like, not really. No, I don't. So good thing we didn't pay him. I mean, we wouldn't pay a guy like him. My point was, I think that Josh Dobbs could run faster than Daniel Jones, and that might not necessarily be a good indication for how he'll do. Also, my thought was that we were able to contain Daniel Jones more because Saquon Barkley was out. So you're not worried about Saquon Barkley. Where in this game, you're going to be worried about James Conner. So I feel like if the defense accidentally is kind of too focused on making sure James Conner doesn't get out, then potentially they could forget about Josh Dobbs for a second and he could get some. Now, their wide receiving core is so terrible that I can barely name anyone on their wide receiving core. So I'm still not scared of them at all and don't think that they'll win at all. But I could see in the beginning half, because they've averaged 18 points in the beginning half of all their games, every game, which is actually really good. That's more, 2 touchdowns. So that's really good. The problem is at the later half of their games after the second half, counting all 3 games, they've only scored 18 points. So they really nosedive after the second quarter, which is great because the Niners go up after the second quarter. So I feel like this game, if it's not just an all out, like we're beating you from the first quarter on, then it's definitely going to be from after halftime. It's over. I could see it being competitive. And then the Arizona Cardinals, their talent is just so minuscule compared to the Niners that I could see that nosediving pretty quickly. But yeah, so I think that the only way that the Cardinals have a chance to win is if Brock Purdy throws a lot of interceptions. He did have some inaccuracy issues last week, so if those continue, maybe it is an elbow issue. I kind of hypothesized that maybe he was used to resting his elbow midweek, and that's why it looked a little bit worse last week. But now he's had a full week of rest. It's a normal Sunday game. I don't think he'll be too much worse, but he has made a lot of turnover-worthy throws, although he's had excellent luck and not turned the ball over at all. So I think the only way that they could win is if that turnover luck evens out or whatever, and Purdy gives the ball away. I want to say more than once. I think that he could throw a turnover and the Niners would still win pretty handedly, probably even cover that spread. 14 points, right? 13 points. I'll check. 13 or 14 points. But please rest him. See, yeah, I agree that we should rest Debo. But anyways, I can totally lost my train of thought. I should not check those, the comments. But what was I saying? Arizona. Oh, Purdy. I think that he could turn the ball over at least once and that the Niners would still cover the 14-point spread. And I think he would have to turn it over 2 to 3 times. The defense would have to crumble, let Josh Dobbs get multiple yards and somehow have James Conner go off. I mean, I can see if that offensive line really struggles, they're able to hit Purdy, spook him a little bit, him turning the ball over. But I can see it being a close game. I can't really envision them completely winning. But I can see them covering the spread depending on Purdy turning it over. That offensive line, McKivitz has looked really bad. Burford and Banks made some good plays, but they've really struggled. That right side has really struggled. So I could see it being closer than thought, but if I was going to bet, I think they're going to cover it. I don't think it'll be close at all, but there is a possibility. So we don't want to we want to make it interesting. We want to think that they have a chance and it's not just going to be a blowout. I don't know about you. I feel like I'm not a normal fan. I like close games. I think they're more entertaining and more fun. Obviously, it feels good when your team is just blowing everyone out, but I think it gives you something more to talk about and analyze if they're having a close game. So that's possible, but I would not. I don't anticipate it. I anticipate it being a blowout, but those are the ways that it would happen if it would.